I will call this to order at 5:53 p.m. Yes, and I will start with the territorial acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located in the traditional and ceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Catskill nations. Unceded means the territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and we're currently situated on occupied territories. Moving on to a quick roll call attendance, I will start with computing science. Engineering science.
My name's Adam. I am the engineering science counselor. My pronouns are he, him, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. Mechatronics.
Everyone, my name's Aiden. All my needs are met.
Thank you. Software systems.
Hey everyone, I'm Fabian. All my access needs are met.
Sustainable energy. I'm just seeing the caption. My name is Sebastian, and the pronoun team is. Only be able to watch from the screen from the meeting. Beside that, all access needs are met. Thank you. SAS. I believe there's regrets. Cognitive science. Cognitive science. Okay. Criminology.
Hello, everybody. My name is Henry. Pronouns he, him, his. Access needs are just fine.
Welcome. There's a couple of bunch of introductions here. I'll just one here.
Where's the other way?
Oh,
Steve just saying that. Oh, they're both of it. Hey. What are you? Econ. Economics. Okay. English.
Hi everyone, my name is Fatima Tuzara. My pronouns are she, her, and all of my access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you. Cindy, could we turn on the captions, and then could we turn off the volume as well? Indigenous studies. Evans is access needs are met. International studies.
My name is Iago. Good afternoon, everybody. My pronouns are he, him, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. Labor studies.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mamdu. Pronoun is he, him, and all access are met. Thank you.
Thank you. Political science. Political science. Okay. Psychology.
Hey everyone, my name's Ellie. Pronouns she, her, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. World languages. World languages. Bass.
Hi, my name is Meha Sidhu. All my access needs have been met, and I go by she, her pronouns.
Thank you. Interactive arts.
Hi, my name is Caleb Wu. Pronouns are he, him, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. Education.
Hi, I'm Shivali. My pronouns are she, her, and all my access needs are great.
Thank you. ASSU.
Hi, everyone. I'm Grayson Bark. He, him pronouns. All my access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you. Archaeology.
Hi, my name is Mina Perry. My pronouns are she, her, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. Geography.
Jeffrey for geography, all access needs met.
Thank you. Resource and environmental management. Ethan. HSUSU.
Hi guys, my name is Sharon. My pronouns are he, him, and all my access needs are met.
Us.
Hi, Catherine, she, her pronouns, all access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you. BNSS.
Hi everyone, my name is Arthi, pronouns are she, her, and as for my access needs, I just have to leave by 7:30. Thank you.
BSU. Biology. Hey everyone, we'll have to step up for a sec, but I'm present in case the roll call happens here. Pronouns, him, and access needs are met. Thank you. Biomedical physiology. Biomedical physiology. Chemistry. Data science. Data science. Renee, EMS. Got my wisdom teeth removed, so I can't speak. And appointment at 7. Hope you're feeling good. Thanks for joining. Earth science. Earth science. Mathematics.
Hi everyone, my name is Ananga, my pronouns are he, him, and all my needs are met.
Thank you. MBB, I believe they have regrets. Okay, moving on to our CGs, DNA. DNA. Thank you. FNMISA.
Hello, everyone. Chris here. He, him pronouns, all access needs met.
Thank you. Soka. Soka.
Hi, my name is Emmanuel. Pronouns he, him, and all access needs are met.
Thank you. Women's Center. Women's Center. Okay. RHA.
Hi, my name is Tuika. My pronouns are she, her, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. SFPERG.
My name's Rebecca, she, they pronouns, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. TSSU. Okay. Moving on to the executive, VP Equity.
Hi, my name's Chloe, pronouns she, her, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. VP Events.
Hi, my name is Shifranj, pronouns he, him, all my access needs are met.
Thank you. VP External.
Joel, he, him, pronouns, access needs are met.
VP Finance, I believe is on a leave of absence, so she's not present. VP Internal.
My name's Sam, my pronouns are he, him, and all my access needs are met.
VP University.
Hi, name's Rishu. He, him pronouns, all access needs are met.
Thank you. On to staff, OM.
Cindy here, pronouns she, her, hers, access needs are met.
Thank you. Is policy.
Hi everyone, I'm Araba. I use she, her, hers pronouns. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. Admin assistant. Simmer, EMS, my assistants are met. Thank you. And then we have regrets from SAS, GS, WS, philosophy, biomedical, and MBB.
And with the caption.
Yes, could we have the caption going? Thank you. And then myself, President EMS, Ms. Manuel, assistants are met. Okay, moving on to consent agenda approval. We resolved to adopt the consent agenda by unanimous consent. Today we have last week's council, ESAB, and then some ratification of regrets. Anyone opposed to these? If not, I will seek unanimous consent, please. Like the agenda. No, not yet. One minute.
No.
Okay, seeing none, that is carried unanimously. Moving on to the adoption of the agenda, be resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. I move, I need a second. University seconds, floor is open for lists and amendments.
Send it to the chair.
Yeah. Repeat, sir.
I wanted to add provincial election campaigning to the agenda, motion.
I'm guessing you moved.
I'll second. Can you read your motion over?
Whereas ECA committee reviewed campaigns promoting voting efforts for BC's provincial election day on October 19, 2024. Whereas ECA has recommended SFSS join the vacancy control official voting campaign along with UBC and UX student societies. Whereas ECA has recommended that SFSS join the Get Out the Vote campaign along with BC Federation of Students and Alliance of BC Students. Be it resolved that SFSS join the aforementioned provincial election campaigns.
Thank you. Anyone opposed to the amendment? Okay, seeing none, that is carried unanimously. Any other lists and amendments? Okay, I do not see any. I will. Okay, be resolved to adopt the agenda as amended. I move. I need a second. University seconds. Anyone opposed? See none. That's carried unanimously. Okay, now I'll turn it over to our guest to do some introduction. I'll leave it to you guys to take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is CJ Rowe. My pronouns are they, them, their, and I'm the interim senior director of student affairs with well-being portfolio.
Janice Kennedy, the director of budgets at SFU, and my pronouns are she, her.
Kiran Shithir, associate vice president of finance, and my pronouns are she.
Namana Khan Hamani, Vice Provost Students and International, and my pronouns are she, her.
And I'm Deus Gracia, I'm the Provost and Vice President Academic, and my pronouns is he.
Hi everyone, I'm Sean McKenna. I'm Senior Director of Student Services Operations, and my pronouns are he, him.
Awesome. Thank you guys. The next on our agenda is the presentation. So we have the slides we could share if you guys want us to. You should have it in your email. You guys should also all have the presentation. It's been sent out to all of you, so you could follow along. It would also be on the screen for those online. Yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Fantastic. I'll just kick
Feel
us.
free to, so, yeah, that one. Yeah, go ahead.
Will you be sharing on the screen
Yes,
as
yeah,
well?
it'll come up in a
Perfect, thank
second.
you. I do have the slides printed here, but I just will kick us off really quickly. This is a really important, I'm grateful that we've had this opportunity to present and really spend some time in discussion and dialogue about the budget and tuition as it impacts students at SFU. And we had a chance to meet with the executive to make sure this was something that was going to work for the SFSS. It's the first time really as part of the student consultation that we've attended a council meeting to have a bit more of a discussion, hopefully a two-way discussion. We do have a presentation and I don't want us to spend all our time on it, but we did think it was good to spend a bit of time on the budget basics. So kind of like, how does the budget at the university work? How do we develop the budget? What the financial context is. So we're going to be talking quite a bit about that. And then we'll spend a little bit of time just explaining how the consultation works. And most of the time, the plan is to have a conversation with you about what you're hearing from students that you represent in terms of priorities around funding, student support, academic support, the kinds of things that the university spends resources on. And we want a better sense from your perspective of what we should be focused on. So I'm going to hand it over to Dilson, who will, I think, start us off with a couple of introductory slides on the budget.
Yeah, thank you very much, Romana. So yeah, so we have that's what we put in the agenda, as you probably saw in what you received. If we're going too fast or too slow, or just let us know. I mean, we prepare some slides. that are supposed to tell you a bit about the basics of the budget as a SFU. But again, if you want us to speak more about it or less, please let us know. We want to fit in a time that would actually leave more time for conversations afterwards. So if you go ahead for the first slide, I guess, sorry, the next one is repeated. So I've been here now for 1 year, actually. I'm relatively new, still here at SFU. So I got here towards the end of the last year, fiscal year, and I captured the end, I guess, of the budget consultation. Now I'm here from the beginning, and I think that that circle that says we are here now, it was actually very good for me to know as well. It's not only to show you guys, because this is the first time that I'm meeting with this group. So we start the budget process basically by trying to have an outlook or forecasting what we have ahead of us. So we have early indications around now, early indications on what enrollment may look like, or what kind of money that we may have from the government or not, what are the expenses that we have. We have a sense of inflations and so on. So this is just a financial outlook to start with the year, and there is a lot of components to that. That's where we are right now. So we have a sense of what the year may look like, but we still don't know for sure. We don't even know yet the enrollments for next year, the final enrollments, the number of international students and so on. Then we move to consultations, and I think the main reason today is for Romana to have a better sense as well how her office will do further consultation after this. This is just the beginning of the conversation, but then there is a step of consultations afterwards with several steps. And I think she wants to hear from you, I guess, Romana, if the consultation as planned is what we may be looking forward. So that's where we are. And then after the consultations, we do develop the budget. And that's why as well we have the director of the budget office, Janice, and Karen Jeev, who's the AVP Finance here. And after developing the budget, then we need approval. We need approval from the board. We need approval from different bodies within the university to then end the fiscal year. So we are now in the beginning. I mean, that's why we want to hear from you. Of course, when we have the budget as tight as we have these days in every university, not only here, we want really to know what your priorities is, because we probably cannot fund everything that we would like to, and you'd like to, and everybody else. So priorities for us is really, really important to know what the priorities are. So if you go to the next slide there, please. So the budget, to give a sense, okay, the budget that we have at SFU is about $980 million. Okay, this is when we say consolidated budget, it means the budgets that we use for operations, budget that comes, for example, from donations, from endowments, budget that comes from contracts that we may have. So it's all the money that's at university. Some of them is quite restricted, how we can use, some of it not. So there is actually about $200 million that is not for operations. It's pretty restricted. We actually cannot do much around. They help us a lot. So they help us with things that we do that may not even be visible sometimes for you on the structure. But anyway, it's money that is there. And for transparency, we want to let you know. The operation budget, we are predicting now about $720 million. That's for the operations of the university. And then includes everything. Includes everything that we do, including all the money that we actually spend with student life, with professors, with research, with IT, with everything. So that's the operating budget, and what we try to do is to spend most of the operating budget. It's about 70%, I think. I don't have the list number in teaching and research. And we try actually to spend most of the money. And if you go and look to the budget book that we publish every year, that has been published, is going to show you how the money is spent, and shows us that most of the money goes to faculties to support programs and students. We also, of course, have to spend money with support units, with IT, with facilities, with HR, and so on. But most of the money goes for teaching and research. And that's what we want to do, even when we have to do budget cuts, or if we don't have to do, we try to keep the percentage of money that goes for research and teaching pretty much stable. So if you go to the next slide, I think I give you an
That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as Joseph mentioned, majority of the expenditures are related to academic mission of the university. And 75% of the operating expense is salaries and benefits, because this place, right, we have faculties that are teaching and we have support staff. So 75% of the budget goes to salaries and benefit. Rest of the 25%, we use that money to pay for scholarships and awards. for maintaining the university contractor services, housekeeping, right, food services, that's where the rest of the money goes. And to pay the utilities, right? So that's the rest of the expenditures. Can I go to the next slide, please? And how are we generating the revenue, where the revenue is coming from? 50% of our funding comes from government. 45 comes from right tuition and student fees, and rest is right 5% is investment income or donations. And if you look at the previous slides versus this, you will see that our expenses for this fiscal exceeded by $4 million than our funding. So those are the financial challenges that we are kind of like experiencing. Can I have the next slide, please? What are the factors that influence the budget? And I know we have all experienced a high inflation over the last few years, and our funding is only increasing by 2%. So there is a delta between inflation and our funding increases. And also there's a cap on the domestic students and the student fees. We cannot increase the domestic fees and the student fees more than 2%. And also the international students, we don't receive a provincial funding for those students. So this is a reason there's a higher increase for the international, because we are not getting any provincial funding for that. And also a number of our salaries are not funded by the government. They only fund the general wage increases, but there's step increases and others which we need to self-fund. And also we would like to continue to invest in the university priorities, right? Maintaining the infrastructure. So we need to come up with money to pay for those. So those are the couple of the factors, right? That we need to make sure we have funding for. So those are the, when we are looking at the budget, those are the considerations that we make. Over to you, Romana.
So I don't know, that might be, if there's any questions at this juncture, because we're sort of going to move into talking about areas of student priority, the categories, the themes that we have been hearing from students either through previous surveys or current discussions. But before we go there, this is a lot. You have the slide deck, and I know that we would welcome questions. We can, even after today, if they come into you folks, you could send them on to us for response.
Anything on the budget? Yes.
Hello. I just have like a really quick question about, I know on the little like circle graph thing, sorry, the operating expenses slide. Sorry, I have like a muffin in my throat. Yeah, that one. It says that 74% of the operating budget is like salaries and benefits. I'm wondering, are there any figures on like how much of that goes to like teaching staff versus like TSSU versus faculty, admin, like that?
Yeah, we do have that information. I don't have it right now, but we can send that to you. We have all the details.
Okay, thank you.
And also the budget book that's available online has the details.
Okay.
Yes. He actually has details by different faculties as well, here's all. Anything else on the budget itself?
Those online.
Yeah. Would we have a breakdown of how much of the student funding that's coming in is divided between domestic and international students? Because or just like a rough amount.
Yeah, so the funding, we don't get any funding for international students, but the tuition, we do have a breakdown between domestic and international.
Which is approximately how much?
Not offhand. I think it is close to, it's sort of been shifting, but I think it's close to 50-50.
How many?
Or it was, yeah.
And how much would you say, like, is that per capita? Is that, how many international students do we have now? Do we have a number? Sorry, just off the top of your head.
Do you know the number now?
Today,
Well, approximately.
between the undergrad,
Yes.
roughly about 5,000.
Out of 25.
Yeah.
Well, out of more because, but 5,000 undergraduate, and I don't know the grad number off the top of my head right now. But there is that I think in the budget book, we actually do have the, we distinguish between international tuition and domestic.
No, it's between credit and non-credit, but we can provide the breakdown.
Yeah,
Okay, we will provide it.
We're taking a list of questions that we'll get.
Chloe?
Did somebody ask?
Actually, there is one online, but you can go first.
You can go.
Okay, Sharon, and then, actually, I'll do Mina and then Sharon.
Hi, could you scroll back up to the SFU investments about the 5%? Is it public knowledge on what investments SFU is involved in?
Are you talking about, right, like on this page, that's the revenue?
Yes, exactly. I just want to know if it is possible to know what those investments are in.
Like investments where we are making the investments or?
Money that we get.
Yes, where is SFU making these investments that are getting these returns?
Oh. It's all online, right? All the information regarding our investments is posted online.
Thank you.
Sharon, and then Equity.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, so my question is, maybe I'm not really understanding it right, but when you say that you don't receive funding from international students, what does that exactly mean?
For domestic students, the provincial government, because right, those domestic students, right, they live here. The taxpayers, right, of this province will provide a funding, right? So it's part of the government funding. So for every domestic students, we receive funding for that student. For international students, because they don't live here and they're not paying part of the tax system, so the government does not provide any funding.
Okay, so we're just talking about from the government side of things, because I was just thinking about tuition itself. So in that regard, I mean, in that regard, both you get funding from both, right?
Yes,
Domestic and
that's right.
okay, all right. Sorry, just a bit confused over there. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. Equity.
Expenses, please. So within both supplies, expenses, and various other, that's including scholarships and like student programming, so events and things like that, or does that all fall within the departmental budgets?
No, that's all, everything included. So various other include scholarships, awards, right, and other expenses. Utilities is another one. Contracted services like housekeeping, right, food services, maintaining the facilities, that's all included in the various.
So the departmental budgets of say like student engagement.
Yeah, that's
all within the 26%?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's salaries, right, with the student engagement, that will be included in salaries and benefits, but if there's other additional, yeah.
Okay.
It is, I mean, this is our overall picture, but most of the money we end up, so that from the central administration end up passing to faculty. And it's going to be decided at the faculty, most of the money. So from the central offices, we allocate basically funds for units, most of it faculties, academic units, and the faculties will make most of the decisions.
So both the faculties and the departments internally manage their own funds?
That's right.
Based on, I guess, like reports that they provide to you?
So they, I mean, every faculty has a different way to manage the funds, but they do have actually to report to us. And every year we're gonna know how much they spend and how much they got and if there is a deficit or not, but we don't micromanage the way that the faculties spend their funds. The most of the money is spent with salaries, like I said. So most faculties actually don't have much of a decision making there. They may decide if they hire more or less people, but they don't decide much on the numbers themselves. We don't micromanage that at all. We actually allocate funds as we get, and we actually control to see if there is a homogeneous spending across different units and if there is no deficit and so on. But we actually don't tell one faculty that's the way you should spend the money. We don't do that. We are now, as we go now through budget consultation, we also meet with every faculty and every non-academic unit. They show us their plan for next year. So we have all the data of, the expenses from the previous years and everything. So we meet, so today, for example, we met with the BD School of Business. We had a meeting today, actually, all of us. We met with them, so they will tell us, we know how much they spent last year and how much, but they will tell us, this is our plan, this is our hiring plan, this is the way that we want to spend money, and then we approve or not. Most of the times, provided that there's not a deficit, we will approve because we don't want to micromanage what they do, but that's decided at the faculty level. Mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm noticing, I just went per credit, just online, just searching SFU, like cost per credit, and I'm looking at the highest cost a person would pay, a domestic tourist student would pay is like around $183 right now, versus per credit, the highest cost an international student would pay is something around $13.80. And we're proposing a 4% increase on top of that.
Right.
And 6% for international students incoming. What I'm wondering is, we say percentage increases year over year. It seems small, but compounding works magnificently, especially when it's expenses that you're paying as a student. So I'm wondering if we know how much of that increase has been in the past couple of years. And are we expecting to continue seeing this trend? Is it a de facto thing that we will have budget increases? SFSS has a commitment, a campaign we've had for multiple years called Tuition Freeze Now. Are we expecting a possibility where there might not be tuition fees increases at all?
So, to be quite honest with you, I don't know now. I don't know right now. We would like not to increase fees. I mean, we actually don't carry forward money or surpluses. We don't increase fees to have more money sitting with us. Hopefully, we don't have to. The reason why I say that I don't know 3 years or 4 years from now is that we really have no idea how the financial situation of universities across Canada will be. So it'd be easy for me to say, sure, in 2 or 3 years, we're not going to do it. I can't. I can tell that I would like not have to increase fees. I really would like to, but I can say right now. And the proposed increases that you see now, they are still up for discussions and consultations. The truth is, the funds that we get from the government, they are not sufficient to cover the basic expenses, let alone things that we want to do beyond the basic expenses. So that may not be as clear a financial that you may want, but honestly, we don't know. I mean, we don't know 2 years from now, 3 years from now, what the situation is going to be.
Is there any way the student society can support getting that sort of funding? We've been advocating for more governmental funding this whole time.
We should talk more about it. I mean, the more support we can get from you, the more support we can give to you as well. We do advocate a lot, but we can talk more about it. I mean, I think that everybody knows that we should actually provide more funding for the students. Everybody knows, and we do know that. And I think it will be very difficult to find anybody in any government that would not agree with that. But we have to have the funds. But we should talk more about it. Absolutely.
I just had a follow-up question regarding government funding. Have you seen that it's relatively proportional to things like inflation and expenses for both students and the university?
It's not. It's not. It's not. If you do a relative calculation on expenses and cost of living and inflation and how much money we get, it's not at all. We are actually getting less and less money if you look in relative terms. Even if you have a bit more money sometimes, in terms of costs, it's actually going to be less than what we had in previous years. So it's not proportional at all. It's not.
We are only getting 2% increase in the government funding, and the inflation has been at a really high.
5 or 6. Yeah.
So inflation is coming down. So this is where the 2% is coming from, right? Government, and then you have 2% increase for domestic. So that makes up 4%, which is equivalent to the international. But our salaries has increased because we are working with the unions and others, and our expenditures has increased more than 4% over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
We have seen up to 12% of inflation in the last few years, but so there's always delta.
Sorry, just one more comment. So here in BC, because education is a provincial finance, it's not federal. Here in BC, I was actually talking to somebody about the differences between provinces. In BC, we are not allowed to have a deficit. which compared to other provinces make things clean, but very difficult. Because if we don't have enough money to pay for everything, we have to cut. You know, in other provinces, you can actually negotiate to have a small deficit, and then when you have a better situation, you pay the deficit out and so on. In VC, we're not supposed, we cannot, unless we ask permission and they would say yes or no. Usually they would say no, but we cannot.
I see three lists online. I'll read the first one. So Evan's asking, is it normal to spend a percentage that on salaries for other organizations like our size? So I'm guessing the question is, let's say a university similar to our size of students, is it normal that this percentage of the budget is going towards salaries and benefits?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In a lot of universities, even more. Absolutely.
And both Dilson and I recently joined SFU, so based on our past experience, this number is within line. So it can be anywhere from 70 to 80%.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, Sharon, go ahead. Sharon?
Yeah, sorry. So I had a follow-up question on kind of like sorry, I forgot which counselor said that, but in terms of the tuition fee increase, I know you said 2% for domestic or an international is 6%, I believe. Now, that's correct, right?
4, 2 and 4.
4, sorry, yeah. So I was just wondering, ever since I have been here for the last 3 years, tuition fees have only gone up, and it just continues to go up. I understand that there's inflation right now. So my question, I kind of practically have 2 questions in this regard, but my main question is, like, since we are continuously having to pay this extra amount because, let's face it, we did sign practically a contract that we have to, university can increase fees whenever they want. We have practically no say in it. But if that is the case, then how come SFU still?
Sorry, we need to restart the recording.
Okay, restart the recording. Oh, yes, sorry, the executive has been working on fulfilling the motion, or the motion. The donation.
It was a motion.
A motion. The motion for an annual donation to the Indigenous Residential School Survivor Society. We are still a little bit unclear about exactly what line items we're supposed to draw from, so we're talking about aligning that. Maybe Simmer, you could give a little bit more clarity on it after, but yes, we're doing that as well. And then I think that's everything for me.
VP events, anyone else? I'm just gonna move by you because it just came by from Eloy, but is there anything?
This is my idea. I haven't done one project three consultates on this story. So yeah, I haven't done an activity report for about 3 council meetings now because I was working on welcome month events. Welcome month was pretty successful. We put on a number of events from September 3rd going on until September 20th, which was the day of the kickoff. We pretty much filled up all days with events and tabling and tried to promote the society as much as we could. The events ranged all the way in terms of cultural festivals like the Moon Cake Festival, even club nights, and of course the concert, pancake breakfast, and several other things that happened throughout the month. Apart from that, I just came back from LOA, so I'm working on wrapping up events from September. And as Rishi said, we were able to put on the Diwali event, which has been a tradition for the past 2 years. Again this year, which will be happening on November 10th. So, good things are loading and many other things are planned.
Thank you. VP External, I don't know if you're still on transit or if you're able to talk. If not, I could move on.
Yeah, in a quiet space now. over the last month or so, with provincial elections going on, we've been working with a lot of different student groups, especially ABCS and BCFS, on get out the vote efforts. We've partnered with VoteMate, which is basically a platform that gets out young students to compare and contrast provincial candidates. And that is up on our website now with all of the other provincial election material with our vacancy control campaign and the links to BCFS's Vote Now campaign. Also working with different provincial bodies, spoke with at the Mayor's Council event in support of TransLink and transit funding. That was a big one. We're supporting within the committee. We've passed some money for honoraria for basically a mock polling station. You'll see those in the next few days, where we're teaching students how to vote with kits that we've gotten from Democratic Engagement Exchange, which is one of those institutions that have partnered with Elections BC. And then on a lesser internal side of things, we're working, I am personally, not volunteering, but as part of SFSS, representing SFSS on the BD's Dean Search Committee. I think that's basically mostly been my day-to-day is going.
Thanks, Joe. DB Finance.
Yeah, as for FASC itself, we were going over the auditors, feedback and changes that need to be made for the budget, just overall including like the dividends, interest from revenue, health plan, admin fee, that kind of stuff. Just the stuff that, if you were here for the council meeting that was presented, just passing that through FASC and having kind of like a strategic goal on what that means for the committee specifically and how the committee will be taking on the responsibility to further do that for the next budget and the next financial statements that will be proposed for next year. As for student healthcare, just discussing moving the referendum to spring and what that will logistically look like, as well as with the help of Sam, we were drafting up the survey for student healthcare. That's going to be going out to the student body. And then as for myself, some of the main things are I finished up the AGM report that's going to be presented at AGM, that specifically being the finance report regarding the last fiscal year statements and just some of our goals and some of our concerns, all that kind of stuff that you'll see at the AGM. Also, okay. Also just working with Van City to discuss our investment goals and making sure that they align with our equity goals and follow the IP policy, as well as just having our due diligence with the investment policy as well. That's basically it for me.
Thank you. VP Internal.
All right. My committee reports. Governance Committee did not meet as we had Thanksgiving this week. The Members Meeting Planning Committee met the week before, and we looked at our plans for the AGM, prizes, and prepping for our outreach stuff that is the next round is going out tonight as I am putting out more posters. If anyone who's here would like to help me after the meeting. Other things going on, like Simmer finished up my portion of the AGM report and have been just generally working on logistics for the AGM primarily. As mine been following up with some of the other ongoing projects, but primarily work on the AGM.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that is everyone. Myself, from the past 2 weeks, is finalizing our management stuff. So we're finally at the end of that in terms of the job openings. So we finally closed the applications. We extended it over the long weekend. So the Iron Committee will be reaching out soon, and it's going to be time to do some work. So if you're on that committee, expect to get an email from myself or one of the execs at some point this week. Yeah, and then after that, there's been meetings with SFU. As usual, our check-ins, and then also had the opportunity to join the SFU's finally moving on the Black Students Center. So I had an opportunity to sit in on the design meeting for the space, and that was good to watch. And yeah, and then other than that, couple of Iron Committee stuff on SFU's end that I currently sit on for some of their admin positions. And then, of course, this past week, we had convocation, which I was glad to be a part of as well. And then the usual committee meetings, execs, and then staff relations related materials. And then, yeah, and then we had a long weekend, and then here we are. But yeah, that is it from myself and I think from the execs. So I will move on to old business. Sorry, discussion items. This should be also postponed to next council meeting. And then yeah, I'll move on to old business. Space Oversight Committee. Are there anyone interested in this committee before I read out the motion? So. Who's the chair of this committee? If you want to give an overview for anyone interested. Ashley?
I'm the vice chair.
Can you please give a?
All right, so the Space Oversight Committee reviews the various spaces that the SFSS or its various groups and affiliates use. It has spending authority to the Space Oversight Fund, and is the space that is the committee that if groups are like, oh, I want to go purchase a new table for my common room, they go to the Space Oversight Committee. If it's not like going through a grant, if they want to use the Space Expansion Fund to do it. It's a lot of fun, not really that busy, and a committee where pretty much any expenditures or conversations are directly for things that will benefit students every day, so it's a lot of fun. I'm open for a contested committee election today, at least on one of these three, so please start applying, or I might also have to ask Henry to pull out our historical wheel.
Thank you. And then thanks, Amir. I'll put in that in the chat as well. On that note, are there any individuals interested in sitting on this committee? I have some projects that I want to give to this committee. So whoever's on there, there's some exciting stuff that you could work on. So Jeffrey?
I would like to join if it's uncontested.
I mean, contested is also okay too.
I got big plans for Squawk, so.
Henry?
Nominate, Embark.
Embark, they're not on committee?
No.
Embark, actually, I don't know if they're present today.
Yeah, she was. At least for them.
Embark counselor, do you accept the nomination?
Can I ask when the meetings would be?
I don't know if they already have one.
Spock's been called,
I believe it's 3:30 to 4:30 on
Friday.
either Fridays or no Mondays. 3:30 to 4:30 on Mondays.
On Mondays?
Bi-weekly, although
Yeah, I'd love to explore the opportunity. I do this is my first council meeting, so I'd love to kind of learn more after I get situated.
This is our first council meeting. Can you explain the purpose of committees?
okay. Committees do like we don't want to do every piece of business of the society at the council meeting because that would take like 12 hours. So committees are sort of delegated authority for specific areas of council so that it can function better and run faster. Every councillor by bylaw has to serve on at least one committee. Otherwise, it is a fine. I will say it isn't like definable the first meeting. So like if you do still want to wait, that is possible. But I will say this is when we are doing the committee election. So it would be easier to join them now. We have 4 different committees where the three different committees that are on the agenda today. Space oversight, the university and academic affairs committee, which is run by our VP University, and then our external and community affairs committee, which is run by the VP External, and both of them generally deal with the portfolios of those respective VPs. And then I explained space oversight. So like it's an important part of your role as a counselor to be involved in the committees.
Yeah, thanks for the summary.
Yeah, and also if this is not one you want to sit on, I believe these are the only 3 that are currently vacant.
I can double check. There might be 1 or 2 more that I've missed.
Okay.
But right now these are the 3 that are primarily open.
Correct. So basically you're gonna have to sit on one of these 3. I know it's very limited options, but but if you feel like you need more time to figure out which committee, I'm sure we could whatever committee is not taken up this week will be available again to you next meeting. But in the chat, the VP University just confirmed that there's also a spot on outreach as well.
Okay, thanks.
Clarity on where you could find information on all of these. I believe it's in council policies. So if you go on our website, there's information about all the committees, so you could get more info on what each of these do.
All right, thanks for the summary. If we're doing the nominations now, I think I'm happy to take it on.
Which one would you be interested in? Do you want this one specifically? Because we're moving on to the other 2. This one is specifically for space oversight.
Yep. Because if like the university or like the external portfolios interest you more, like
I am a part of the Equity and Sustainability Committee. Kind of thinking about my schedule. Would it be okay to have another time to like reconsider or?
Yeah, take your time. Some of these will probably be on the agenda again next council meeting. But yeah, I can't guarantee you won't be available by then, but whatever is open will come back to council and then make a decision based on those.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else interested in space oversight? If not, I guess we could give it to, did you have a good time for me? Also postpone, because I believe so, I'll post this one.
You second their call.
Yeah, anyone else? Okay, I will read the motion, whereas there's a vacant seat on spot committee, whereas there's one seat available for members of council. Be resolved to elect geography counselor to serve on the spot committee for the council term 2024-2025. I move, and the second
Internal.
Anyone opposed or seeing none? Seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to abstain or dissent, please signify. Seeing none, that's carried unanimously. Moving on to university. Anyone interested in sitting on the University and Affairs Committee? I can't tell what that is.
FSU French. I'd
Oh,
like to
yes.
nominate for university.
Yes, I think this was the one we reserved for you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I will just move on and read. Whereas there's a vacant spot on the UA committee, whereas is there anyone else that wants to be on this committee? University and Academic Affairs.
I can vote for myself.
You wanna list yourself, then we'll be going to a contested vote.
Election.
It'll be an election, because there is one person. Do you still wanna proceed with a self-nomination? Okay, well, it looks like we have an election to run. Anyone else?
Gonna be an election either way. Throw your name in. I just like counting tallies.
Are you appointing yourself?
I don't see any, so how this works, French counselor, I know it's your first official meeting, but this is gonna be good. Well, yeah, so you both will get, I believe it's 1 minute, or is it 2? I think it's 1.
1 minute.
1 minute to VP University.
I nominate VP Events.
Do you accept? He doesn't accept. CGs already have a non-voting position on UA. Is that true?
I'm not sure.
Am I already part of that? I think I'm already part of that committee. Leave me alone. I'm not part of, I'm part of enough committees.
Oh, non-voting all constituency group representatives on council.
On UA?
Why?
On UA?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could sit on it if you want. Well,
No voting.
But you want to be a voting.
so no more, well, unless you really want to be a voting member.
Okay.
Do you want to proceed or do you just want to take the non-voting seat? Sorry?
Yeah,
You want to proceed with the election?
yeah.
Well, okay,
The power player.
so I guess we.
All right.
With an election, yeah, you both have 1 minute to convince council on why you should be the one to be on this committee. I'll go in order of the nominations, so French counselor, I will put you on the hot seat and let me know when you're good and then we'll start the 1 minute time.
Okay. I can improvise and go now, if that's okay.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm gonna stop you again. VP University.
I think Chitran has changed his mind.
No, he is not. I'm gonna accept. You're gonna accept? Okay.
We'll make it third.
Okay, French counselor, go ahead.
Okay, well, hi everybody. I'm the newly elected French counselor, and I really want to sit on the University and Affair Committee because first off, I'm not part of a committee, so I have a lot of free times to give for that one. I also really want to implicate myself in this because I do believe that is the one that was interesting me the most. even though the choices are pretty reduced. I'm happy to run the election, and I hope I can be a great fit for that. That's kind of all I have to say because my role is pretty new, but yeah, thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Andrea. I will move to our next candidate, and the order of nomination is the DNA counselor. Whenever you're ready.
Like, what was that?
So you have 1 minute to convince council on why you're the best person to sit on the committee.
To,
Go ahead.
okay. I feel like I'm the best person to bring a matter to the community because I feel like I'm more what?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I want to create an inclusive place, and I want to make sure that everyone have their own opinion and interest in the community, and they can be able to solve whatever problem going on. Yeah, so I think I'll be good. I think I'll be good for the community. Yeah. Is it done?
Right on time. There was 5 seconds left, which is good. Thank you.
Okay.
Moving on to our final candidate, VP Events, you have 1 minute.
Yeah, I would like to be on the committee because in the month of September, I did realize that we have a lot of SFU departments and communications with SFU directors and staff play a major role in all projects of the society. And I think me being on the UA would definitely contribute to us, to the society being able to communicate with the university better. And I would like to be playing a decisive part on the committee just to make sure our relations with the university are kept well.
Okay, thank you. I think that is time. Okay, now this is the fun part. We go to a vote. So, council, based on what you've heard, I will have Vice Chair put in a comment in the chat. First, put in Adria, sorry. And then followed by but that's very different people.
What do you want to do? Roll call, you want to meet with the convince everyone?
Do a roll call and
Well, I will do a roll call vote then. I want to go the easier way, but it looks like people want to say roll call vote, so let's do it. Computer science.
Oh, hard pick. I'm gonna go with DNA counselor.
Thank you. Engineering.
I will go with French counselor.
You. Mechatronics.
DNA.
You. Software.
Yeah. Are you referring to software systems?
Correct.
Oh, I'm picking for French counselor.
Thank you. Sustainable energy. Could you put the options in the chat, please? Sustainable energy. SAS. SAS. Okay. Cognitive science. Prim.
French.
Econ. I believe they're not here. English.
I'll do French counselor.
You. French. Also, you're allowed to vote for yourself, by the way. French.
I'll vote French.
I didn't see that one coming. GSW.
I vote for the French counselor.
Thank you. Sam. Indigenous studies. Indigenous studies. Oh, okay. International studies. Or the rep. Labor studies. Okay. Philosophy.
DNA.
Medical science.
I vote for the French counselor.
Thank you. Psychology. Psychology. Oh, okay. World languages. Okay. Bass. Bass. Okay. Interactive arts. Education, I believe is not present. ESSU.
DNA.
Okay. Thank you. Archaeology. Okay. Bass votes VP events. Geography.
FSU.
Okay. Resource environmental management.
French counselor.
It's USU.
French counselor.
Sus. Sus. BNSS. BSU.
I'll do DNA.
Biomedical physiology.
French counselor.
Chemistry. Chemistry is French. Data science or their representative. Okay. Earth science. DNA. Mathematics. French. Statistics. Thanks. DNA. FMISA.
DNA.
SOCA.
DNA.
Women's Center.
I'll vote for the French counselor.
Embark.
I'll also vote for French counselor.
RHA. I don't think they came in.
Oh, RJ, vote for DNA.
Okay. It's a perk.
I'll vote for Anthea, the DNA counselor.
TSSU. DNA. VP Equity.
Because it's a first committee, I vote French counselor.
Thank you. VP Events.
French counselor.
Thank you. VP External.
Wait, did Events vote for himself or no?
No.
I'll vote for VP Events. I'll give him the first vote.
VP Finance.
Same thing as Chloe, it's her first meeting, so agent.
You. VP Internal.
I will also vote for French.
University.
VP events.
Thank you. Myself, I will go French counselor. And I think that is everyone. Do we have numbers?
We do have numbers. Would you like me to skip the winner or numbers?
You could list out the numbers and then, yeah.
All right. In third place, we have the VP Events at 4 votes. And people think council meetings are fun. In second, we have the DNA counselor with 12 votes.
You're on my committee. Stop trying to go on other committees. You're on mine.
our VP Equity is getting ready to fight our VP University over the DNA counselor. That is a joke for everyone. And winning this election is the French counselor with 20.
Congratulations, French counselor. Kudos to you, winning your first ever election, your first official meeting. Congratulations. So I will move, whereas there's a vacant seat on UA committee, whereas there is one seat available for members of council. Be resolved to elect the French counselor to serve on the UA committee for the council term 2024-2025. I move. I need a second. Seconds. Seeking unanimous consent on this one. Seeing no dissent, that's carried unanimously. Next one is the external committee. Actually, no. I will do the OOC resignation. Be resolved to accept the resignation of the OOC counselor. I move. I need a seconder.
Second.
VP of Finance seconds. Anyone opposed to this? Seeing none, that's carried unanimously. Next, we have going on to new business. This is for the endorsement of the presentation that we heard today. Whereas the SFSS is committed to supporting sustainable transportation initiatives that benefit students and the rural community, whereas the MVX advocates for regional rail service, addressing economic, environmental, and social issues that align with the SFSS goals of accessibility, sustainability, and regional development. Be resolved that the SFSS Council officially endorses the MVX open letter. I move. I need a seconder. SAS seconds. Floor is open for list and discussions. I don't know if this is a contested one. I don't know what people are feeling, but I'm going to seek unanimous consent. And if you wish to dissent or abstain, please mention in the chat. Yes, go ahead.
I was a little confused during the presentation. It looked like for the most part it was wanting to replace like the current transit network. Like I know I asked the question, but like did anyone else feel like it was trying to do the same thing that the current transit network does, but like faster and in more areas?
I get the vibe I got from it is that the idea is more or less to supplement the current transit system, but I don't know how that would work besides TransLink. So it would probably have to usurp it. I'm guessing that since it's still seemingly in the fledgling stages of planning anyways, maybe it is to work underneath TransLink to just add it to the system. I just hope, my only like setback is probably like the environmental aspect of it, since of course it is going to be electric. So in that terms of carbon footprint shouldn't be that bad. But if it is to implement an additional system to the current TransLink system, we don't necessarily have a guarantee of how like carbon neutral that addition will be in terms of the construction process, in terms of how much we're going to do just in terms of construction. I'd say with the preliminary plan they have given us still, I think we're fine with the go ahead to sign the open letter saying they want to complement the current system. I feel that simply signing an open letter, we can still retract our consent if at any point they go outside what we consider important tourist policies. Since there's no exact like monetary like contribution coming from us, I feel like this is a kind of like a low risk type of thing to do.
Ethan, you have a list?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a direct response, but as like REM has a planning program, and that's kind of what I'm getting into. I just kind of want to explain to everyone how it kind of works. So it would be kind of a separate system because, for example, the high-speed rail to Cascadia is gonna be connecting like Vancouver to Seattle to Portland, and so it would have to be separate from TransLink. And the one to the Fraser Valley might also have to be separate, and the one to Whistler would probably have to be separate or combined with the one to the Fraser Valley, just because it's outside of TransLink's jurisdiction. But it would more so take trips off the road from cars than it would from people who are already taking transit, because it services new regions that TransLink really doesn't offer service to. For example, people going from Chilliwack or Whistler to Vancouver, that would be the main point of building that rail network. So it wouldn't it would take some trips away from TransLink, but for the most part, it would be.
Thank you. Direct response from Sam.
I had a question.
Direct response and then direct response.
Oh, just thanks for answering my question.
That was
Very
it?
insightful.
That was it?
Yeah.
Oh. Go ahead, Ryan.
I did. I guess my question is just more so it's less like a TransLink alternative, just more so trying to connect like the other parts of BC together.
Yeah, that would be the main goal. There are a lot of different efforts. This is just one private effort or one group amongst a bunch of groups. But for the most part, yeah, it's just trying to get, like, for example, if you want to go to Whistler right now, you have to take a bus trip that's very infrequent and not very reliable for like commuters. And so it's just trying to make TransLink or transit and TransLink more functional and make it less so that you need a car to get around Metro Vancouver or the Fraser Valley.
Thank you.
Thanks. One small concern as well as one benefit to endorsing this. They mentioned potentially having this funded by private equity. That kind of comes with its own kind of perils. For example, if they're funding it, does that mean they get all the revenue from it? How does that revenue split work? I was also a bit confused as to, I understand they're not for profit, but people still don't do stuff for nothing. So there has to be some sort of cash. They have to be getting something out of it. And you didn't really mention that, so it just sussed me out a little bit. So what my conclusion would be is it's an additional expense then for students who need to transit here, another price they have to pay now if they have driving is out of cost. Maybe it's cheaper than gas prices nowadays, but that's something I'd be concerned about. And if those fares are high, right? Like a SkyTrain ride is still relatively cheap if you're going one zone. What if it's like $10, $12, right? $15? How much is affordable? And the benefit to endorsing this is you're in the door with them and you have your connection with them, so you could have the ability to influence it. So it's a very down the road concern, and maybe not something we need to be thinking about now, but just something to keep in mind down the road.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point. I think realistically, I don't see this being a project that the province or municipal government inherits and fully runs as a public thing. I think there will be some degree of privatization to this, at least from what it sounds like. So yeah, I think it's a consideration council should consider is, do we want to sign on to this with the possibility of it having a private public relationship? And also, as you mentioned, the profits, where's that going? Is it also affordable for students? As our core audience is students. I see a direct response from geography, and then I see one from VP Equity.
I do see the concerns with private equity, but I don't think it'll fully replace SkyTrain. I think for the shorter trips, like on the Burrard Peninsula, you'll still be able to get here by SkyTrain. But people living in Chilliwack, Abbotsford, or even Squamish could actually like join our community without a 2-hour transit. So I think that's the main catchment of the project, and not like Brentwood to SFU.
Good. Thank you. Chloe?
Yeah, I think that because this is so like 5-10 years down the line, it's more of a demonstration of like values and what we're interested in seeing as students. I liked Abby's point about like having sort of your foot in the door in terms of those conversations and being a part of it. We can also highlight our priorities in terms of having why do I want to say state-sponsored public transit? That's not what I'm talking about. Provincially funded, there we go. Public transit.
Public funded.
Yeah, there we go. So I think honestly we're not signing on to anything like too crazy. It's more of just like yeah, our province probably needs more like high-speed rail. I mean, we don't have any high-speed rail. Canada does. Europe does, and
Japan is the fastest. Japan's is the fastest.
All the cool countries have high-speed rail. I want high-speed rail.
Cool. Well, I don't see any more lists or discussions about this. Again, I'm going to seek unanimous consent, but if you wish to abstain or dissent, please signify in the chat. Okay, I don't see any. So I guess that's carried unanimously. Next thing and last thing on our agenda today is the external committee elections that was amended on by VP External. Is anyone interested in sitting on the external committee? Going once?
Guys, this is a fun one. You get to like go to external things if there's spots. Time for the wheel.
Going twice?
Is there anyone who's not in committee? There is, but they're not here.
This one's a fun
Going
one, and if
twice?
they wanna talk to like politicians or like Joel's been talking to a lot of Surrey Board of Trade people, Burnaby Board of Trade people.
Ethan?
Oh, I was just wondering because I'm on accessibility, but like for the fall semester, my schedule with school hasn't allowed me to go. So I was wondering when the meetings were for external.
That'll be a Joe question. Joe, you have the next list, so could you answer that question and also take your list as well?
Yeah, so the meetings are at Thursday afternoon. And then my list was basically saying what the external committee does. It's
Give them a time.
sort of this.
Give them a time.
No, we haven't had a time yet. We haven't called it. We just had an emergency meeting at 1:30 last Thursday. And that was, I think, it. It might be between 1:30 to 4:30 based on availability from staff. So in that time period.
Flexible then for new counselors joining.
I don't think it comes up.
Oh, I was just asking, so it means that the time is so flexible for like
Yes. Yeah. So we could do after 3:30 basically. Okay.
Joe, what was your list?
I was explaining what the external committee does. So it was basically that we do a lot of political and government advocacy, but we also do relationship building with charities, with boards of trade, with mayors' councils. All the sponsorships basically would be us. So if we're basically thinking about a kickoff next year, so we would have to start the sponsorship process for that now to be able to make sure that we have enough of that. So those sorts of things would all be external. Next year is a federal election. What are our priorities? Setting an external strategic plan for the SFSS is basically what the external committee would be deciding on.
Okay, thank you. How many spots on the committee?
2.
Okay, well, we have 2 people interested. I believe Jazz Lane, I can't see what student union that is.
Actually, SWS. Family Studies.
Okay. And then Ethan is REMSA.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 interested folks. Anyone else?
Will you have 2 seats on this one?
Anyone else? Okay. I will, actually, I don't have the motion. Henry, could you, oh, you have it. Whereas there are 2 vacant seats on the ECA committee, whereas there are 2 available for members of council, we resolve to elect Ramsa Counselor and GSW as Counselor to serve on the ECA committee for the council term of 2024. 2025. I move, I need a second. Internal seconds, seek unanimous consent on this. Okay, seeing no dissent, that's carried unanimously. Okay, that is all for today. Next part is a Q&A. Are there any questions for council today? Anyone? Any question? Okay, seeing none, I will move on to announcement. BPUA will be on the leave of absence from October 23rd to 25th. And then next week, Friday, SFSS will be having a town hall, so we hope to see all of you there, and also invite all your respective student unions and leaders and members to come on out. It's gonna be at the social stage right in front of Blends. I believe there will be food and snacks, so but it's just a moment for us to connect with the student population and also take some questions and share some of the visions we have for the rest of the year. And yeah, that's next Friday. And then the week after, as you guys know, we have our AGM on Wednesday as well. Yeah, and also I think I mentioned this, or this was mentioned. Counselors are expected to be at that one. You're expected to treat it as you would a council meeting. But yeah, but just to clarify that, yes, you're expected to be there, but it will be an AGM. And I think that's all for an announcement from my end. And then lastly, as I think VP Events mentioned, the Wally tickets are now out. I don't know if there's any discounts or for counselors, but not that I know of, but tickets are open. If you're interested, I believe it's selling out fast, so get yours while you still can. Yeah, no discounts as of now. Yeah, I think that is it. I don't know if anyone else on council has events they want to plug. If so, you could drop it in the chat. If you have events within the next 2 weeks, feel free to drop in the chat. But if not, I think that is all from us tonight. Perfect timing. I will call this meeting to adjournment at 7:25 PM. I move. I need a second. CSA seconds. Taking unanimous consent. If you wish to abstain or dissent, please signify. Seeing none, that's carried unanimously. All events coming up are in the chat. There's a Young Women in Business party. Chloe, you might want to go to that. As a gala this Sunday. And then the Wally, of course, is a couple of weeks out. But yeah, thanks everyone. We will see you. There's still more coming in with the ice cream social, but we'll see you guys next week at the town hall on Friday.
If I didn't accept window meeting, have to continue.